Have you ever looked at a specific data visualization, a bar chart, a graph, or any other data visualization tool and said, oh, that's really interesting. I want to know more. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you some fundamental concepts that you can use across a series of different data visualization tools. I'm not going to go specifically into how to use tools, but general concepts and methodologies that you can use across a series of different tool sets. When we're looking at data visualization, one of the most important things to understand is that you want the information to be presentable in a quick way. So the user can only use or see the data in a given time frame. So to give you a good example is that I've worked with individuals who were at the top of their game, meaning that they worked at the C-level or above and needed to have information easily digestible. And so what I learned was this: you want your data visualization to be shown and presented in about 15 seconds. If the information doesn't come across in about 15 to 30 seconds, then the data visualization is fundamentally worthless. People don't have the time to spend on looking at something that's complex and difficult to explain and or understand. And so one of the best ways to do so is that every page in your data visualization should be telling one specific story. And in this case, the story that I'm showing is family premiums for healthcare insurance. And so how much does a specific family within a specific category or group set pay for their healthcare premium? And so this is a really simple chart. This is only one chart on one specific page. And what it's trying to explain is it's trying to explain the amount that they pay on their monthly premium for a given family. And it's separated out by color so that when your eye sees it, your eye understands, oh, okay, these are segmented by color. And if you look deeper, then you can tell, oh, okay, we're talking about an average couple with one child that goes up by age. If they have 2 children, then it's blue. And if they have 3 or more children, then it's gray. And so you can easily look at this and say, okay, I get what they're trying to say. I understand that. And then they can move on to something else, and they can move on to something at another level and look at the data at a different view. But how do you get there? How do you present this data in a way that's easy to understand when you have a lot of data at your fingertips? So in this data set, I'm working off of a specific data set that has over 100,000 rows. Specifically, this data set has 109,000 different rows. And it has over 148 different fields. What that means is that you have to look at the data set and say, okay, what's the most important part of this data and how can I ingest it in the best way possible? One of the best ways to do so is to identify the fields that you need. And so in my mind, I say, okay, what are some core fundamental fields that I can use across this entire dashboard? And one is the state code. You can tell that, okay, the state and location is going to be very interesting to show. And on top of that, the county or the county code. This is interesting because it allows for a more granular level beyond just the state. So I can look at a state like Alaska, and then I can look at a different county, like, for example, Anchorage. And that may be interesting to show by metal level, by the specific issuer, or the specific plan itself. So these are the fields that I'm going to use that are overarching in my entire visualization or dashboard. But what values do I need to show? Because there are so many different values I can show. For example, there's a customer service phone number for whatever reason. There's these URLs. There are just so many different fields that can be used. But what I'm wanting to know is their premium. And so I can look at the specific fields that I need for premium and say, okay, here are the actual fields that I need. I need adults that is age 21 with a child. So I can say, okay, this is a couple with one child that is in this age group. And these are the couples with 2 children, and this is their age group, etc. And so I can say, okay, this is the actual data that I need to use. And so knowing how Tableau works, I can take this data and throw it into specific fields that give me a specific bar chart. And so as you can see, if you line up the data, every single field has a specific bar chart. And I can actually go into Tableau and I can actually change these fields to the specific color that I need. And so what you need to do is you need to identify from your fundamental data set what fields will overarch the entire dashboard or visualization, and then what fields are needed for your specific data visualization. If you're talking about a bar chart, a graph, pie chart, or anything else. And so as you can see, I'm looking at the state code right now. I'm looking at Kansas. I can drill down and look at the specific county, and I'm looking at the issuer name of Blue Cross Blue Shield. I can also look at the metal level and say, okay, I really only want to see instances of gold and platinum, for example. And I can see that for gold and platinum, if you have more than 3 children and you're age 50, then you're going to be paying $3,000 per month for healthcare premium. So to sum this all up, you need to take into account a few different fundamental concepts. And one of the most fundamental concepts is this, that the user needs to understand the data in about 15 to 30 seconds at the very, very most. That they need to glance at a specific visualization and say, oh, I understand what's going on here. I want to know more. After that, then you need to have easy to understand bar charts that have visual representation of specific numbers or colors that dissect the data in easy to understand ways. The third is on the data side, you need to have specific fields that overarch your entire data set or your entire visualization. And so you can identify specific fields that you want to use throughout the data visualization that can be used as ways to drill down into the data, like we have in Tableau here. The last concept is to understand what values you want to show and put in your mind how you want to put those values into a specific data visualization. So if you have a data set, you need to have in your mind what you want to show and then work with a specific data visualization tool to show it in the best way possible. Thanks for listening, and I will come out with more videos about data visualization concepts that can help you show data in more interesting ways.